Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
We are your local election headquarters, kicking off the 2020 election season. This is a special edition of 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, it's 5 a.m. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of 17 News at Sunrise on this Thursday, June 27th, 2019. I'm Maddie Jansen.
And I'm Alex Fisher. Tonight is the second night of the first Democratic debate of the 2020 presidential election. We'll have team coverage coming up, but first, a look at your forecast, and really, you cannot complain about this forecast.
It is
gorgeous. And right now, the temperature is just very pleasant.
Yeah, nice and comfortable, almost a little chilly from what we've been used to in the morning hours. And this afternoon, we're going to be nice and comfortable. Yesterday, here's our high, 90 degrees. Our record of 111 set back in 1925, so we're far from that. 61 degrees right now in Bakersfield. Perfect weather, a north wind at 5. And then we take a look at the hour by hour, starting out in the 60s, 82 at noon. And by 3 o'clock, we're looking at 87. I think our high today will be right around 88. For the Tehachapi area, 50 degrees right now. West-northwest wind at 8 miles per hour. And as we take a look at the day, starting out in the 50s, and then we're looking at mid-70s this afternoon. Still a little bit breezy around the area as well.
It was a big night in Florida. Round one of the first Democratic primary debate is over, and now it's on to round two.
10 more candidates will take the stage tonight, and we have team coverage this morning. 17's Vanessa Dillon is in our newsroom. Eitan Wallace is in our election headquarters, and Tracy Potts in Miami.
That's where this is all happening in Florida at the Adrian Arsht Center for the Performing Arts. Here's a look at the stage right now, where in just about 12 hours, the second set of candidates will battle it out. Savannah Guthrie, Lester Holt, Chuck Todd, Rachel Maddow, and Jose Diaz-Balart will once again moderate the debate. It's all happening at 6 o'clock tonight right here on TV 17.
But we begin with 17's Vanessa Dillon. She has a look at what happened on stage last night, plus reaction from people on both sides of the aisle here in Bakersfield. So, Vanessa, what were some of the key moments last night?
Well, Alex, several heated moments dominated last night's stage, from healthcare to immigration reform. Most of the candidates made big leaps to prove their stance on the issues during round one of the first presidential primary debate. But what some of the candidates said had them in the spotlight this morning, including Elizabeth Warren. Several polls also show her as a frontrunner of last night's group. When the conversation led to immigration, candidates Beto O'Rourke and Julian Castro began speaking over each other to make their point.
We would not turn back Valeria and her father, Oscar. We would accept them into this country and follow our own asylum laws. We would not build walls. We would not put kids in cages. In fact, we would spare no expense to reunite the families that have been separated already. And we would not criminally prosecute any family who is fleeing violence and persecution. We would make sure...
Secretary, let him finish, and I will give you... But let him finish. Let him finish, please.
Whether on social media or at watch parties, last night's debate was a major topic of discussion nationwide, and it was no different for us here locally. The Democratic Women of Kern hosted a debate watch party on Wednesday. Dozens of locals watched the debate at Goose Looney's in downtown Bakersfield, and we got to hear from a few people supporting both parties.
I think they all have a different perspective, but I think Elizabeth Warren so far has shown that some of the policies or her ideas align with what I believe in.
What I think about the Democratic debate, I think they need to quit being, they need to quit trying to favor what the crowd wants to hear. You know what I mean? Just say it straight up. Even if it hurts somebody's feelings, that is what it is. Just come out and say it.
The Democratic Women of Kern will be hosting another watch party this evening for debate night 2. It'll be at Athena's Greek Cafe and Grill, and you can watch round 2 of the debates right here on TV 17. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Vanessa. And so who will be on stage tonight? Well, here's the lineup. As Vanessa explained yesterday, top polling candidates will stand center stage, while lower polling contenders are closer to the edges of the stage.
New information this morning about a body discovered weeks ago in a silo in Shafter. The coroner has released the man's identity. He's 26-year-old Alan Jeffrey Strasser of Bakersfield. Farm workers found the body in a silo on Zerker Road back on June 5th. They were trying to use the silo, but it was blocked. The coroner has performed an autopsy, but the cause and manner of death are still pending further studies.
Tax revenue from the first quarter of 2019 is in. Now the city of Bakersfield must decide how to spend it. 17's Karen Wall was at a meeting yesterday where the Measure and Citizens Committee gave their input and ensured the city stay true to its priorities.
So it's been about 3 months since the 1-cent sales tax from Measure N went into effect. Next Monday, the money collected will officially be allocated in a new budget. Measure N funds are in. And good news, the 1-cent sales tax increase is set to bring in $1 million more this year than originally expected. For next year, it's predicted to bring in $3.85 million more. So where will this money go? The city recommends most of it go into the cash reserve, an emergency fund for financial stability. That's all of this year's $1 million and 3.3 of next year's $3.85 million.
While the reserve isn't a bad idea, I agree with it wholeheartedly. It's great fiscal responsibility.
But
again, I don't know that the voters, when they voted for the tax measure, wasn't for a rainy day fund, but more to take care of the immediate problems that are facing the community.
Bakersfield Homeless Shelter CEO Lewis Gill also made his case, asking for part of the extra revenue to help with homelessness.
We have gone from somewhere around 12,000 meals a month to 17,000 meals a month. I ask that you consider allocating a portion of this windfall to the need that exists today.
What committee members did agree on? $250,000 more to fund the police academy, a facility to be built on California Avenue that the city says will allow BPD to hire 100 new officers in 3 years as promised. The city is expected to make a final decision on this budget this Friday. I'm Karen Hua, 17 News.
It's 5:07 now. A popular recreation area on the Central Coast could see some major changes. Environmentalists have raised concerns over protecting the ecosystem at Oceano Dunes State Park. Right now, coastal permits allow 1,000 RV campers to stay overnight at the park, but the Coastal Commission wants to cut that number to 700. 1,100 acres are currently open to the public. It could be reduced to just 450. Some say this could change and hurt the local economy. The South County Chamber of Commerce says the change would be detrimental to businesses. The Coastal Commission will vote on July 11th in San Luis Obispo.
That's hard to believe. It's 5:17 now, and as the July 4th holiday approaches, concern increases for our four-legged friends.
17's Tabitha Mills shares the importance of microchipping your pet ahead of the loud and sometimes terrifying holiday for animals.
It's not only important to microchip your pet, but to make sure the information tied to your pet's microchip is up to date. It's the surest way to locate your furry family member if they get lost on the 4th of July. The loud noise of fireworks, the flash of light and colors can be unnerving for some animals. Julie Johnson, executive director of the Bakersfield Animal Care Center, says you should take steps ahead of the 4th of July to keep your animals safe. Talk to your vet about ways to keep your pets calm during celebrations and take the vet's suggestions seriously. Make sure your pet is microchipped, and if so, make sure the contact information tied to your pet's chip is current and up to date.
Microchips are not a GPS, so it doesn't track anything. We're just trying to get your pets back to you, make sure they're safe. We're going to help you update your information. We're going to make sure your information's current, because the biggest thing we see is we get a lot of animals that have a microchip, but the contact information is no longer valid. And that makes it really hard because we can't contact you to get your pet back to you.
If you're not sure if your pet's microchip is up to date, you can take your pet to any city shelter or veterinarian in town. There you can have your pet's chip scanned, and you will be given the information needed to update your contact information. If your pet doesn't have a chip, the Bakersfield Animal Care Center on South Mount Vernon Avenue will host Microchip Mania on Saturday between 8 a.m. and noon. The first 125 people will receive free microchips. Pet Matchmaker Rescue was also holding a free microchipping event, and more information can be found on the nonprofit's Facebook page. Maddie, Alex, we'll send it back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you, Tabitha. It is 5:19 now, and they exceeded their goal. Some of you might have gone out to the summertime car show at Chewy's on Roseville Highway earlier this month. Just about every hot rod and vintage cruiser made an appearance at the show. It was all to raise money for the Bakersfield Firefighters Burn Foundation. The Bakersfield Car Club hoped to raise more than $20,000 for local burn survivors, but they surpassed that. Last night, the Bakersfield Car Club announced and presented a check to the BFD Burn Foundation for more than $30,000.
These are special people in the community that help make this car show happen, along with the 411 cars that were out there. It made for a wonderful day. We hope to increase attendance next year and bring even more to the table. $30,101 for the Bakersfield Firefighter Burn Foundation.
The money will help the Burn Foundation boost funds for their annual camp.
It's 5:20 now. It's a big push to give a star to a man who's brought so much light to the Bakersfield community. David Marcus is a big fan of Centennial High School sports, and he's often seen around town supporting local charities. He's battling cancer, though, for the 7th time and still keeps his relentless positivity and faith alive. Marcus has been nominated for a star in front of the Fox Theater in downtown Bakersfield. A GoFundMe is underway to raise the $5,000 needed for the star. As of last check, $3,100 has been raised. You can go to that GoFundMe link on our KGET Facebook page.
I know the moment we posted that article on our Facebook page, it just went viral in our community. I mean, so many people are rallying for him, and it's going to be really neat to see that happen.
You can also just go to KGET.com and search David Marcus, and it should pop up there too for you.
Welcome back in your Business Watch. Target is taking on Amazon Prime with its own holiday of deals. The retailer is going head-to-head with Amazon's Prime Day this year by debuting an event called Deal Days. It's a 2-day online sale happening July 15th and 16th. That is the same time as the Amazon shopping holiday. Target even stressed in its announcement that there's no membership required to participate. Unlike Prime Day, which is limited to Prime subscribers who have to pay a year-long membership fee that costs $119. It is a staple on dinner tables across the country, but you may be paying too much for it. A grand jury is investigating whether some of the nation's biggest poultry producers have been engaged in a price-fixing scheme to drive up the cost of chicken. Here's NBC's Miguel Almaguer.
It's the most popular meat on American plates. Now federal investigators are looking into whether the country's biggest chicken-producing companies, including Tyson Foods, Pilgrim's Pride, Sanderson Farms, and Purdue, conspired to drive up prices on everything from chicken breasts to chicken tacos to chicken nuggets.
How we doing?
At Verdi Mexican restaurant in Louisville, Colorado, owner TJ Ingram spends up to $2,000 a week on chicken, but says higher prices have cut into profits and forced him to make changes.
What can I do with my chicken to make it go further or, keep it on the menu without hurting our bottom line?
Americans spend about $90 billion a year on chicken. The federal investigation comes as several recent lawsuits, including one brought by Walmart, have accused the industry of collusion. The suits allege that from 2008 to 2016, prices rose 50%, even as production costs were falling. The NBC News business unit estimates a typical American household would pay an extra $210 a year.
Chicken is an American staple, and people notice the difference as much as they notice the price of milk, the price of bread, the price of orange juice.
That was Miguel Almaguer reporting. All 4 companies deny allegations of collusion and promise a robust legal defense as America's appetite for chicken continues to grow.